Good afternoon, Miss Arlene. This is the presentation of Group 4, and I am Lolimi Casimero.
And I am Leonard Bridada.
So as for the continuation of the presentation of Group 3, let us now move on to how globalization changes your daily business operations. Both the benefits and challenges of globalization change how a business operates in different ways. When companies decide to go global, they must be ready and willing to change internal processes. This helps to accommodate new markets and make their global workforce feel comfortable and accepted at work. Companies see many aspects of their businesses change once they enter the global marketplace. For example, globalization makes the workforce more diverse. This diversity is an overall positive change, but it creates some challenges, such as language barriers and differences in cultural expectations.
Some of the operational changes companies should expect from globalization includes global communication challenges, internal employee expectations, supporting foreign customers, increased competitions, marketing and communication changes.
Global communication challenges. Before starting to branch out from headquarters, firms have to put an established internal communication plan in place since global employees likely work in a different time zone and have a different native language. For example, kung naa mo sa isa ka place, or for example, isa ka resto. So syempre lain-lain mo kita in different countries abi isa ka sa mga customers or isa ka sa mga gapadalagan sa business. So naa mo gid na iban nga kanang naay native language nga makasulod din ba foreigners from other countries. So ang iba na dali nga challenges kanang hindi sila ka-intindi sa language na ginagamit sa isa ka hindi sila magka-intindihan sa customers kag sa for example sa waiters or sa receptionist. So need nila sa halimbawa translator or tao nga maka-intindi sa language ng customer para easy ang ilang mga communications.
They need plan.
Yes.
International employee expectations. Foreign employees have different expectations when it comes to things like salary and benefits, as well as how they manage their daily work schedules. Companies that want to take advantage of globalization hire foreign workers need to accommodate them as much as possible.
For example, international employee expectations. So, some of the may ibang nga company nagapangita sa employee. Kag ang expectation na sa ibang employee dapat taas ang salary. So dapat kung company ka, dapat maka-provide ka gid sa insyang to nga information nga amo gid dapat ang ila salary para wala kamo negative feedback from them. Okay. Next, we have supporting foreign customers. Similar to communication changes with employees, companies must also plan for how they run customer service and support in new countries. Customers in the new market where you offer your products or services might not speak your native language or be close to your time zone. So, sa previous kong hambal kagina, dapat may plan din na kamo nga when it comes sa bago na pud nga customers nga lain ang ginasunod yung language, dapat may translator or tao nga pwede makipag-communicate sa ila para easy ang the way of communications.
Next, increase competitions. International companies have to adjust more than internal operations. Going global opens up new revenue streams and increases availability to talents. Because of these attractive benefits at the ease of going global due to service like international PEO, the global market is competitive.
So, increased competition. For example, kung amo na siya ma-store, kung kung nubo ang iya ginahatag nga price sa iya mga products, tapos ang isa naman nga,
Napamubok man.
yes, napamubok man. So murag ka absanay sila kung sino ang pinakadamot nga sales para para kung ano ila ba lang kadako nga sales sa ilang nga store.
Muna i-increase ang kung ano na gani. Ang competition kay gadamo kagabarato man nagabarato.
Next, we have marketing and communication changes. Just like hiring employees in different countries creates internal communication challenges, marketing your products or services to a completely new audience creates obstacles for companies. Businesses need to adjust their marketing strategies to communicate the benefits of their product in a way that resonates with a foreign audience. So, sa previous na pagdagaingon ako, when it comes to marketing sa product, dapat need bigyan ka may translator. So, we don't know nga ang pag-marketing nimo or pag-franchising sa imong products na aka sa ibang nga country. So, need gid nimo sang translator kung hindi ka gid kabalo mag-speak sa ila dialect or language. Kay para kaintindi sila kung ano imo gina-istorya kung paano nimo gina-endorse ang imong mga products. Kay para maka-intindi man sila kag ma-persuade mo sila magbakal or magbakal sa imong products. That's all.
What are the benefits of globalizations? There are 5 benefits of globalizations. Globalization impacts businesses in many different ways, but those who decide to take international expansions find several benefits, including access to new cultures, the spread of technology and innovations, lower costs and products, higher standards of living across the globe, access to new markets, and access to new talents.
So let us now move on to the benefits of globalization. Globalization impacts businesses in many different ways, but those who decide to take an international expansion find several benefits, including
access to new cultures, the spread of technology and innovations, lower costs for products, higher standards of living across the globe, access to new markets, access to new talents.
Okay. First, we have access to new culture. Globalization makes it easier than ever to access foreign culture, including food, movies, music, and art. So, kay na-discuss naman ni Miss, so balikod na lang liwan. So, purpose of new culture is lots of foreign culture like Chinese, Thai, and Mexican food. In Europe, music from various European countries will, despite different language, be heard in clubs and restaurants. So, access to new culture, for example, dito sa Philippines, may store na kita English yung store na may. Those other part of Luzon or in Manila, may restaurant sila serve some lain-lain foods. For example, Mexican food, Chinese food, Korean food, European food, and so on and so forth. So, may anong easy na sa ato maka-access sa ila culture. Kasi syempre, ang iban magud nga Philippines makakadto sa ila lugar tapos ang ila dito nga halimbawa food nila makadto diri sa Pilipinas, and then amo naman na ila obrahon nga mga products. So, syempre daw masikat ina siya sa mga Pinoy kasi syempre bagwag niya sa aton. That's it. Next, we have the spread of technology and innovation.
Many countries around the world remain constantly connected, so knowledge and technological advantage travel quickly. Because of knowledge also transfers so fast, it means that scientists advance made in Asia and be at work in the United States in a matter of days.
So for the spread of technology and innovation, especially kundi na siya ang technology when it comes sa agriculture. So ang agriculture na diyan natin, parang daw hapos man lang ibi ang halimbawa may access. The spread of technology and innovation. So, more on, kung gid ni siya ang technology, when it comes sa technology, more on, gamit gid ni siya when it comes sa agriculture. So for today, kanang dadaghan na gid kayong gagamit sa mga technology, especially sa mga farmers. May mga machine na sila nga pwede nga magtig sa fruta, dayon may gapagaling sa mga tubo, dayon arang naanagid sila yung mga machines nga daw to make their work easier and
Minsan
faster.
una, kabot pa,
Yes.
struktura na, di ba?
Yes. Next, we have lower cost for products.
Globalization allows companies to find lower cost ways to produce their products. It also increases the global competition, which drives prices down and creates a larger variety of choices for customers.
So, sa na-mention kanina, ano siya nga, sa competition sa ilang nga store or products. So, may isang store nga lower cost ang ilang product. So, ang iba niya nga store, ipanugumagit na siya. Amo na siya nga daw kakontisanay sila nga ang both nga store kay para padakanin ko sila kung ilang or kung kadamo ilang nga kung ano kadamo ilang nga customer or ano kadamo ilang nga baligya.
Kita na damo na barato na product.
Yes, especially sa mga ginagamit din sa balay subong, especially food, kanang gamit sa balay, beverages, and some other like
Essentials.
yes, cleaning products. So, kinanglahanan kita na yan sa balay. So, amo ginayang ginapangita una sa customers when it comes sa halimbawa mangubra sila. Di ba? Kung di ka pamagit makadto, di ba sa barato gid. So, amo nang ginaobra nila kung di itong barato nga store, ang isa naman ka store, syempre may isa-isa magitna. So, ginapaluban gina nila kay para ang customers
man sila.
ang customer ya dito na sa ila mapalapit kay para madako ila sales kag syempre nakupod ang ila feedback madamo ila customers sa kadto sa ila store. Okay, next we have higher standards of living across the globe.
Developing nations experience an improved standard of living thanks to the globalizations. According to the World Bank, extreme poverty decreased by 35% since 1990. Further, the target of the first Millennium Development Goal was to cut the 1990 poverty rate in half by 2025.
So higher
2050,
okay. Higher standards of living across the globe. So for example, migration. So di ba ang ang problema na turon tungod sa kapigadohon ng iba niya nga parents or ang mga solid na mga parents with nato.
Nagahalin.
Yes, nagahalin. Decide sila nga maobra na lang overseas. Yes, overseas kay para makaprovide sila family. So ang iba niya daw namin hindi ang kabalaran sa gwa. So ano po sila dito, kumbaga grow. So may ano naging sila, may kumbaga ma-manage na nila nga mag-provide sa ilang family nga para kadoon dito nga dito na lang mag-migrate. So man na siya ang advantage sa globalization. Kay ang ilaya dito nga mga Filipino workers daw makagain nila sa insakto nga salary. Yes, maka-provide na gid sila sa ila family kag ma-manage na nila nga mapakadtos ang ila family dito sa ila ginastayhan nga countries kay kag para dito na lang mamuyo kag maka-survive man bala sa kapigadon. Okay. Next, we have access to new markets.
International Professional Employer Organization, or PIOS, makes it easier than ever to employ workers in other countries quickly and compliantly. This means that for many companies, there is no longer the need of establish a foreign entity to expand overseas.
So for example, ang access to new markets naman niya kung paano paano mag-marketing sa imong products. For example, exporting. So exporting na sa sa aton, parang daw daw na lang na ka-common gid na niya nga part. Pero ang exporting niya, ang gina siya ang gahatag bala sa halimbawa financial sa government. Kaya syempre ang mga products niya sa government gina siya. Pero ang main gina nga gapanag-iya is ang people, is ang tao sa or ang citizen sa government or sa society. So, ang ang exporting, ang gina siya ang common kay di ba? Ang halimbawa ang rice gina-export gina siya halin ang dire pakadto sa China or halin sa Vietnam pakadto sa China. bisan amo lang gid na siya pero dako ginaya mabulig sa exporting. Kag ang new markets naman niya kung paano mo na iya i-market ang imong mga products, new marketing ang ginatawag kay paano mo na iya i-endorse. Hindi lang ang bulk na rice lang gid ang pwede nga ma-export kundi di ba ang iba ng mga sculptures, mga ano ni man mga product hindi sa Filipino, mga urban nga mga works. Di ba sa iban nga countries alam daw bago ginaya sa ila bago lang sila kakita so syempre ma-encourage mo na sila nga magbakan kay syempre bago lang sa ila kaya mo na siya nga arang dako lang gid na siya nga bulig ang exporting gid sa Philippines para maki-finance gid ang government kag ang people sa country or sa community. Next we have access to new talents.
Globalization gives companies the opportunity to explore tech talent in booming markets such as Berlin or Stockholm, rather than Silicon Valley. Again, international PEO allows companies to accompaniently employ workers overseas without having established a legal entity, making global hiring easier than ever.
Access to new talents. So when it comes to access to new talents sa globalization, so di ba if for example, kung owner kaya sa company, di ba may ibang magiguro nga owner sa company or CEO or kumbaga daw representative ba lang nga mag-export ng isang product. So sila di ba hindi ka kabalo English dash. Oh, di ba hindi ka kabalo English pag abot mo to sa ibang country ba kabalo ka na mag-English, kabalo ka na sa paano mo i-endorse ang imong mga product. So do ang talent mo na daw imo gid ang skilled na daya ang high performance ang ability mo nga paano mo i-market imong product, ang knowledge mo kung paano mo siya dadon, paano mo siya i-present sa mga tao, kung paano mo ma-conquer balagi mo kahuya para especially di ba may presentation na niya sa big company. Okay, di ba gina-present pag ida nimo so arang maano pag ida niya kay iba na yung mga arang ano ni ganiban ang ga witness man bala ano ni tawag sa mga witness kani mga representative man sa ibang nga bansa nang dinalagtaw magita nimo ang skill nimo the way ka mag-handle sa imong project kag the way ka nga mag-approach sa ila. Amo na yung may daw alam lang daw maka-access ka gid sa bagong nga talents kay the way sina daw kapag gigalit may pagwa nga talents nga ginatago mo lang. Okay. Next, and let us now move on to what are the challenges of globalizations.
While globalization offers many benefits, it's not without challenges. Velocity Global 2020 State of Global Expansions reports technology industries revealed some of the top challenges that US and UK tech leaders face when taking their companies global, and leaders of other companies likely face the same obstacles. Some of the hurdles companies face when going global includes international recruiting, managing employee immigrations, incurring tariff and export fees, payroll and compliance challenges, loss of cultural identity, foreign worker exploitations, global expansion difficulties, immigration challenges, and local job loss.
Okay. First, we have international recruiting. It's not surprising that 30% of US and UK tech leaders cited international recruiting as their most common challenge. Recruiting across borders creates unknowns for HR teams. First, companies create a plan for how they will interview and thoroughly vet candidates to make sure they're qualified when thousands of miles separate from their headquarters. Next, companies need to know the market's demands for salaries and benefits to make competitive offers. To ensure successful hires, HR teams must factor in challenges like time zones, cultural differences, and language barriers to find a good fit for the company. Ipo sa gani. Ikat na lang na, be. Next, we have managing employee immigration.
Immigration challenges cause a lot of headaches externally, which is why 28% of US and UK tech leaders agreed it was one of their top challenges. Immigration laws change often, and in some countries, it is extremely difficult to secure visas for employees that are foreign nationals. The US, for example, it getting stricter when granted its.
Next, we have managing employee immigration. Immigration challenges cause a lot of headaches internally, which is why 28% of US and UK tech leaders agreed it was one of their top challenges. Immigration laws change often, and in some countries it is extremely difficult to secure visas for employees that are foreign nationals. So for example, immigration means, muadto na po sa ibang word, immigration na siya. Di ba? Daon na lang siya. So, di ba, kung adto magit ka sa ibang na lugar, daon din siya your requirements. For example, isa na kita ang passport, kag ang, especially ang pinakabudlay, kita nga i-process ang visa. So nowadays, dumudamo ginaya sa buong requirements ang visa, magasto ka pa. Tapos, syempre, hindi pa na, kung ikaw ang pinakuha sa companies or like dito sa ibang na lugar ang bank, hindi na yan ikaw ang makakuha niya, ang So, getting a visa is, gina siya complicated. Kaya hindi pa nang hambal nga, kung dira ka lang i-gastar, dira lang di na niya ma-process ang visa. Naginili ka ng, muadto pa kaglain na, halimbawa, diri sa ato, ang Philippines siya, ang ka-process na gina yung visa is Cebu. May na di sa aton, Cebu lang gina niya. So ang Cebu, hindi mo ginahambal na arang lapit lang yun, syempre, pa na, sa mapliti ka pa. So daw hassle na bala, amo na nga daw na challenge na bala ang ga-manage sa employee migration. Kay ga-process mo na sila sa visa pag hindi na siya hapos. Next, incurring tariffs and export fees.
Another challenge both US and UK tech leaders said they face in their report is incurring tariffs and export fees. 29% agreed this is a challenge for their global businesses. For companies looking to sell product abroad, getting those items overseas can be expensive depending on the market.
Yes, incurring tariffs and export fees. Tariffs mean tax or tax. Tariff. So for companies looking to sell products abroad, getting those, yes, di ba ang kung mag-export pa hindi mag-abroad, dapat may bayaran, hindi niya mag-tax. Hindi kaya hambal na kung mag-export na lang libre. So syempre ang effort na nada sa mga worker, kag the way of transportation na ginkuanan sa courier o pag-transport, syempre bayaran ginada siya. Kag bisan mo da nga kuan, unless kung ang gisakyan sa export nga ipa-export nga products arang bayad na nga daan sa international na imo madalaan. Ano siya? Next, we have payroll and compliance challenges.
Another common global expansions obstacle in managing overseas payroll and maintaining compliance with changing employment and tax laws. This management task gets even more difficult if you are trying to manage operations in multiple markets.
Next, we have loss of cultural identity.
While globalization has made foreign countries easier to access, it has also begun to meld unique societies together. The success of certain cultures throughout the world causes other countries to emulate them. But when cultures begin to lose their distinctive features, we lose our global diversity.
So for example, kita means Pinoy. So daghan kita yung cultures or kultura nga ginasunod or some other traditions, norms, beliefs like that.
So because na easy na lang ma-access,
Oo.
mo nang na-lost na atong pagka atong culture because ginakuan sa uban, ginaparihasan nila.
Hindi ginasurmas gid nila ya. Kumbaga ang ilang nga culture sa ibang nga lugar daw hindi ginadala nila dire, kumbaga product lang daw ang ilang culture gina-export nila pa adto sa Philippines.
Amo na ang
Tapos
culture nila,
ginasurmasan nila ang atong nga culture, kumbaga ang atong nga culture ari di. So it means daw maulihin na ta.
Instead na culture na to, ilan na culture ang atong
Kapangibaba. Foreign worker exploitation.
Lower cost do benefits many consumers, but it is also creates tough competition that leads some companies to search for cheap labor sources. Some Western companies ship their production overseas to countries like China, Malaysia, where lax regulation make easier to exploit workers.
So for example, foreign worker exploitation, for example. So may isang company nga mabankrupt. So di ba, kung mabankrupt na yung company, syempre wala na fund, wala na kwarta, di ba? So ang ilan na yung ginaobra, gabangkakas na sila sa mga worker nila. Dahil ang ilan na yung recruit na yan sila sa mga cheap laborers para mga recruit na sila sa cheap laborers para mag-work na naman sa ila. Halimbawa, ang daw mga laborers, kung ba lang na magsugot lang gamay lang ang sweldo, daw dahil lang ba lang ito. So, daw ang
siya.
oh, yes. Daw wala na sila kapaminsan kung ano makapo yung kubra, basta masweldo ka lang sila. So, wala siya nga, daw ang iban ng mga workers daw kalulugoy man, siyempre sila ang naglugoy tapos papahawaan na. Global expansion difficulties. For businesses that want to go global and discover the benefits of globalization, setting up a compliant overseas presence is difficult. If companies take the traditional route of setting up an entity, they need substantial upfront capital, sometimes up to $20,000 and cost of $200,000 annually to main the business. Additionally, global businesses must keep up with different and ever-changing labor laws in new countries. When expanding into new countries, companies must be aware of how to navigate new legal systems. Otherwise, missteps lead to impediments and severe financial and legal consequences. Next, we have immigration challenges and local job loss.
The political climates in the United States and Europe show that there are different viewpoints on the result of globalization. Many countries around the globe are tightening their immigration rules, and it's harder for immigrant to find jobs in new countries. This rise in nationalism is mainly due to anger from the perception that foreigners fill domestic jobs or companies moving their operation abroad to save money or labor costs.
So for example, ang di ba ang Philippines known din siya sa mga hospitable people like that. So ang
mga nurses.
Mga nurses na mga knowledgeable nurses. So, di ba so ang kuwala sila nga ang immigration challenges ng local job laws kaya syempre ang mga Pinoy niya known yan sa mga daw kabalugid bala sila mag-atipan sa mga muna. So ang ila na dapat nila sa immigration, ang ila bala rule ginahigpitan pag nila kaya ang iban puro mga Filipino workers like mga nurses or mga knowledge sa pag-alaga sa mga aged people, though arab lang daw ginagawa na nila kay syempre ang ila local workers halimbawa international. Di ba sa ila dito halimbawa Amerika. So, laban naman ginaguro sa ang Amerika ang mga domestic helper nila dito mga Pinoy. So, ang ila na yan plano or ila na higpitan ng ila immigrants kaya para mga Pinoy hindi na makaobra sa ilang nation. Eh syempre ila dito yung mga local people dito nila wala na obra kaya syempre mga Pinoy na yung gabuli. Ito ang muna siya. Next, we have have ASEAN integration and its effects. Stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It promotes the economic growth. ASEAN's purpose is to form a common market similar to the European Union. The ASEAN Economic Community was established in 2015. It is working toward free movement of goods and services, investment and capital, as well as skilled labor. It will also create common standards in agriculture and financial services, intellectual property rights, and consumer protection. ASEAN is lowering trade tariffs on 99% of its products to the 0 to 5% tariff range. Price is accepted since it is so important to local economies. ASEAN is working to make regulations and product standards uniform among the nations.
Internal challenges. One of the most serious obstacles to the ASEAN integration is unresolved territorial disputes between members of countries. Example, Philippines ka China. Sa West Philippine Sea,
Yes.
ginailog sa China na ila daw to
Ang West Philippines.
ila. So, although na kuan na sa case na ang Pinoy gitagya ato, pero
Wala din nagyapon ginautatan sa China nga ilugod.
Bragi po sila bakit po sa China.
Next now.
External challenges. Participants identified the three external challenges facing ASEAN: globalization, regional imbalance, and lack of engagement mechanism.
For example, sa external challenges, halimbawa ang Philippines subong. Ang Philippines subong niya, kumbaga lack din sa fan. Diba naka-kanan ka mo nga, to the COVID balakot ang Philippines sa China. Yes, pero diba ang ASEAN, may mga countries kinadaya nga dapat sa ASEAN lang get. So ano itong nga countries?
Like Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam,
Myanmar,
Singapore.
Example, sa globalization nga, one of the external challenges na siya, kasi syempre, ang ASEAN means may 10 na binada siya mga country. So that is
Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, and Cambodia.
So, kumbaga, for example, ang Philippines subong, so it means daw, lack na gidbalas ng fund na makuha ng iyang all. So nga, ang mga gulang pagidbalas ng funds ang Philippines sa China, mawala man na siya sa hindi pa nabilong ang China sa ASEAN.
Sa ibang sa lugar, like
US.
Like
USA.
US.
So, hindi siya bala sa neighbor country. So, ang araya sa ASEAN nga countries, ang Philippines, na wala sa bala na naggulam sa fund, hindi dito siya sa iban. Na siya ang globalization, na siya one of the external challenges sa globalization. Next, we have regional imbalances. For example, the north-south divide in Italy. The uneven distribution of economic activity and development between the northern and southern regions of Italy. So for example, ang ilabala padalagan sa economics sa north and southern Italy, hindi pareho. So one of the challenges man na siya. And last is lack of engagement mechanisms. Next, we have the ASEAN Charter. Defines it as a legal entity and intergovernmental organizations that has authority over its members. Underlying the move towards unity and integration is its new motto: one vision, one identity, one community. Next, we have implementation for regional politics. The forum predicted that ASEAN integration will strengthen it as a regional player and perhaps offset the dominance of greater powers in the area. Integration will undoubtedly affect regional cooperative efforts in the Asia Pacific. ASEAN can serve as a model for other East Asian partnerships. Next, last but not least, we have the globalization and its impact on gender equality.
The significant gender differences and disparities with respect to the decision-making powers, participations, and returns for effort that prevail in different societies needs to be taken into account when responding to the forces of globalizations. Because gender inequalities and discrimination In all parts of the world, women can be affected negatively by globalization processes to a greater extent than men. On the other hand, there can be significant gains for women with globalization. It is necessarily systematically monitored the gender impact and change so that the goal of gender inequality and the expansion of human capability are not sacrificed.
Globalization has brought increased access to economic opportunities. Trade openness and the spread of information and communication technologies, or ICT, have increased women's access to economic. Growth in export and ICT enable sectors together with a decline in the importance of physical strength and a rise in the importance of cognitive skills has increased the demand for female labor. ICT has also increased access to markets among female farmers and entrepreneurs by easing time and mobility constraints. So, globalization is impact on gender equality. So may aral kina siya, ang globalization has a positive and negative effects. And one of the positive is, it opens access to economic opportunities to women and offer enormous benefits. So, di ba, subong magigaya ang iba niya nga, gender bias, especially sa mga obra nga laban ng panlalaki. For example, welding. So, di ba, rare ka lagi makakita sa babae nga nag-welding. So, subong, tamo na gitinga mga babae welding. Halimbawa, driver sa wing van. Kita ka mo na. Ga-drive na, daw ga-tricycle driver, ga-welding, daw amo na pala. So, ang negative naman ay although it gives opportunities, there are still some businesses or company prefer to have a male bosses than females. Still, gender bias in the workplace exists. So, for example, may ibang ginayagapon nga companies or businesses nga hindi gusto nga babae. Kasi syempre, ang babae daw kahinhin, daw hindi puro kasarang sa mga bugat o brahon. Pero arang kung gina siya yagapon, daw may gender bias yung yagapon sa workplace. Amo na siya ang negative effect dito sa Pero overall, mas ginayang globalization na dapat equal ang tanan. Kung pwede ang babae, kung pwede ang lalaki, dapat pwede mas babae. Yes. Kana, kumbaga, may kasabihan to gani na ang babae don't need man nga para mabuhi sila. Tsakto. Kaya ang babae may na sila, may kakayahan na mag-ubra kung anong ginaubra sa mga lalaki. Okay, may lugar mo pa?
Bye, miss.
Okay, that's all, miss. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for watching.